Welcome back to Athletes Corner. My name is Khalid Gray, and I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi y'all, I'm Kamara Bradley. I'm a senior here. I do soccer, track, and cross country, and I am a kinesiology major.
So, we brought you here today. Thank you for Morgan bringing you on as well. We brought you on today to ask you a few questions that both pertain to your sport, but also about your personal life as well, and kind of what got you to be the dual athlete that you are. And we know that athletes here, they go through a lot of rigorous workouts. I mean, you're working with your teachers to have an academic plan figured out, and then you still on top of that have to have a personal life. So, you know, you before we went live, you mentioned that in high school you played a lot of sports then. So, can you kind of touch on just where this whole sports, I guess, where you started playing sports, I guess?
Yeah, so pretty much I've always played sports from a young age. Right after me and my family moved to Texas, I started playing soccer. That was like my first sport. So I've been playing soccer for 15 years now, since I was 5. And then, yeah, I just like stuck with that. My parents told us like we had to choose like a main sport to go with, and then we kind of got to like explore into other ones. So I kind of played basketball, and then I ran track a little bit. So I really stuck with like those 3 sports. Once I got to high school, that's when I was like, okay, I have to choose soccer or basketball because they were the same season. So I chose soccer, obviously, because that was like my main sport my whole life. And then I did track and cross country as well. That's kind of where like I really started like the dual sport, because soccer and cross country were at the same time in high school. So I was literally going from cross country practice in the morning to soccer practice after to club soccer practice after school.
Yeah.
And I would do that every single day. And then once track season came around, then I was doing soccer and track, and I was going back and forth from track meets to soccer games. So like, yeah, pretty much. But my parents are definitely like the reason why me and my sisters did sports, because they really wanted us to like find something to do.
Yeah.
So.
Were your parents athletes?
Both my parents played in high school. My mom did like all the sports in high school. My dad did like baseball and stuff, and he played a little bit in college until he went into the military. So.
That's cool. Yeah. So, I'm hearing from all of what you're saying that this rigorous workout schedule has been something that you've been doing since you were in high school. So, as you're transitioning from going from high school competition and going to college, what was that transition like? So, I guess your first year being a dual sport athlete, how was it?
So coming into college, I only did soccer. I knew that I wanted to do track as well, but I just wanted to like see if I could actually do the whole college thing first. So I was like, I'm gonna give myself a year. And then once I got the opportunity to be able to do track as well, I was like, okay, yeah, I really want to do this. So once they brought me on the team, that was like that was about a year ago. It was the last outdoor season. That's what made me realize, I was like, well, this is like not as easy as it used to be. Like you feel more in shape in college, and then you look at it and you're like, you just have a lot more going on. So it just doesn't feel as easy, because last season I was doing soccer spring season as well, but I don't have to do that this year. So somehow I still feel more out of shape this year. But yeah, no, it definitely taught me like more of like time management and how to like really manage all of my things at once to still be able to like have time to relax and be myself outside of that. So
yeah. So you mentioned that it's a step up from obviously it's a step up from high school stuff. But what specifically for those that aren't playing these sports, specifically for soccer, what was the biggest change from high school competition-wise, high school and the collegiate level?
Yeah, so pretty much, obviously college sports are harder, but going from high school to D1 soccer is a very large step, because I mean, everybody knows like the whole like Division 1, like it's just more intense than usual. Especially SWAC, our conference is very, I don't even know how to say this. They're just very physical.
Yeah.
So like compared to high school, I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to the type of players I'm playing against, the size of the players I'm playing against. So coming from high school into college, it was kind of a shock, because I was like, oh wow, like this is like these people are adults. Like I'm used to playing with high schoolers, and now I'm playing against like full grown adults. So, and then just like the physicality and then the actual fitness part of it, I felt like was pretty easy. just because like going from high school, most players in high school do a lot of sports. So then once they go into high school or into college and they're only doing one sport, they're like, okay, this is kind of like, I'm already in shape for this. So I'd say that part was easy, but like definitely like playing against grown women is way different than playing in high school for sure. So,
and you mentioned something that I find kind of like a nuance in your story, at least. You speak about a lot of athletes being a one sport athlete coming from high school, playing their one sport, and then having to focus strictly on that one sport. In your case, you play two.
yeah.
So, what is the difference between being a multi-sport athlete in college? The luxury of it is that one's in one season, the other one's in another season. But what is the difficulty in being a dual athlete?
So like I said earlier, pretty much because the seasons are back to back, like I don't get a recovery period as much as other people. So like I don't have an off season. Like I start in the summer, I go preseason, main season, postseason for soccer, and then I think I took a week off myself because I knew I needed it. But track season, like their preseason starts during soccer. So like I just was thrown right into it. So like I don't have an off season like most people do. So I think like the summer is the most rest I get, and even then I'm still like exercising. But and then on top of that, I'd probably just say like for track wise, going from soccer to track, it's two different types of in shape, and like everybody else in track is getting 14 more weeks of training than I do. So I come in and I'm like, yeah, I'm in shape, but I'm not running miles and miles every day. So
and can you dive into that kind of like what is the in shape
for
soccer and for track?
So for soccer, it's more like strength. Like, I mean, you have to be in shape, but for soccer, you have to have endurance, but you have to be strong. So like in soccer, we lift a lot, we get really big, we get really strong. And then once you hit the track, for me personally, I'm a distance runner in track. So like that's a complete switch for me. So I have to go from that right into running miles and miles and miles. And I am still lifting, but it's more of like to maintain and not to like get bigger. So like I think that like track in shape is more like the endurance part and like cardio part, and then soccer is more like actually building up like the muscles. So
well, I think one of the biggest takeaways that I'm getting from this is it's a lot on your body, right? The physicality aspect of it, and just the whole idea that you have to constantly be in shape. The wear and tear does ensue, right? So one of the biggest things a part of your career is the recovery aspect of it. So how do you recover, and what are some things that you do to recover?
I'd say obviously going to treatment is a very big thing. Like they preach going to treatment for us. So like going and getting in the hot and cold tubs and doing our exercises, our rehab, all of that, seeing the trainers, the physical therapists, all of that. That's a very big thing. So I try to stay up on that. But other than that, sleep. Sleep is like the best recovery I can get. Like that is my biggest thing, is like if I'm not in class or at practice, I'm asleep. And everybody knows that. Like if I'm not answering the phone, I'm asleep. So but yeah, it is kind of hard sometimes, just like with like scheduling, because I mean the rehab part of it does take time. So if you're not getting in there, then like you do have like those knick-knack injuries that like don't go away, but you still have to be out at practice performing, at the meets performing, so it can be hard. So
and we've seen athletes that disregard the recovery aspect of it, and I'm glad that you're speaking on the importance of it, and you're not just kind of like sugarcoating it like I do it, but it's just a part of the game. Like you need to do it, and sleep, like many of us need to get, is very important as well. But something that I'm also hearing is that you have some sort of community in this whole part of it. So how big of a help is it having like your teammates, your family? What is their impact in your college career being a dual sport athlete?
I mean, community is definitely I think the biggest part. I don't think anybody can really do any of it alone. I mean, if you look at like the biggest pro athletes, they're with their community. They have their trainers, their coaches, their parents, their siblings, their everything, So I think that for me, like my community ranges from a lot of people. So I have like the actual athletic department. They do a lot to make sure not only like, compliance wise that I'm doing what I need to do, but like they do check on me a lot to make sure, like, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm the only dual sport athlete at PV right now. So it doesn't happen a lot. So they do like check on us and make sure like if we are dual sport athletes or if we're doing a lot that we're making sure we're still going to class and we're good personally in our personal lives. They do like give us a lot of resources and options as well. Like the athletic department does a great job of that. And then on top of that, like my teammates, I mean, we're friends, but on top of that, we're also accountability partners. So like if I'm not at practice, my friends will be like, hey, where are you? Why are you not here? Like they make sure that we stay on top of our stuff. And then my family, they're my biggest supporters. If I ever need anything, like I literally call my mom. I think I talk to my mom like 5 times a day. So like if I am ever like feeling stressed or upset, or if I have good or bad news, like I literally just get on the phone with my family. I talk to them and I talk it out. Or if I am unsure about something, like they let me know. So
That's beautiful. I just want to, that's beautiful. And by the way, congratulations to you being one of the most prevalent athlete. You're a dual sport. You're the only dual sport athlete on campus from everybody's knowledge, and that's a lot on a body, on a mind, and just. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's my point.
Thank you.
I don't want to get into. I was gonna end up rambling, but that's my point. Yeah. So academics. We're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about your academics for a little bit. What is it like trying to be a student while also being an athlete that plays 2 sports?
Yeah. Well, like in athletics, a lot of times academics get pushed to the side because like at the end of the day, well, at the beginning of the day, we're here for sports. That's why we're here in the first place. But at the end of the day, I'm here to get my degree. Yeah. So come the end of the 3-4 years, I'm walking out of here with my degree, whether I'm playing the sport or I'm not. So my parents have always made it very known for me and my siblings, like, you have to get your education. Like, this is paying for it. This is getting you through it. But, like, your academics is number one. Right now, just as a senior, I think it is getting a little tough just handling all of the courses that I have to take. But I think that the way that PV functions and, like, how the professors help us is good, especially for me as a kinesiology major. Most of them either grew up in sports or understand, like, the sports world, so I think that helps as well. Like, a lot of them are very understanding. So, like, when I go to class, if I show up late or if I show up straight out of practice or if I have to miss, like, they know where I'm at, what I'm doing. But it's not easy to do. I mean, anybody can tell you that. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not, but we're always told to put the student before the athlete, not the athlete before the student. But yeah, when we're out of town, doing work while we're out of town, at the airport, on the bus, in the hotel room, I mean, we're always doing work. Like literally.
You can do the work, get the work done.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So, first off, for a lot of us, we already understand that work is above all. We're here to get our degrees. But I think it speaks to different levels for you personally that there's people that aren't athletes that are struggling to get their work done, but you're in your senior year academically, and you're right at the end. You graduate. Do you graduate this semester or do you graduate next?
I graduate this semester. Yeah, literally.
Like, come on, you're a dual sport athlete. You have 6 classes. I remember you telling me it's a lot going on, and you're able to manage it very, very well. So we're approaching the end of the interview, but I have a few more questions for you. Not speed round, but very quick questions. One of the biggest things I want to ask you for all of the athletes we bring on is, what is one of your most memorable sports moments? Good or bad?
Well, I don't want to say the bad, because
of course.
sometimes, in athletics, like, there's a lot of bad moments that we don't let other people see. So I'd probably have to say one of my best, like, favorable moments was probably SWAC Outdoor for track. That was, like, my first season with the track team here, and I just missed running track so much. And, like, the environment of a track team, especially in outdoor season, is just so great. And, like, we just had so much fun there. Even if we didn't win, it was just like, wow, like, I'm really here. We're
just good vibes.
Yeah. So track always does that.
That's really, really cool. And one of my final questions for you is, do you want to take track or soccer professionally once you leave here, or do you want to pursue your studies in kinesiology once you graduate?
Well, I think that I definitely would like to go pro in soccer. That's always been a dream of mine since I was younger. even if it is like semi-pro. I've done that before, or like a minor league team. I mean, I would like to do track, but I don't think that's in my books. That's not in my cards. But I mean, I wouldn't be sad if I had to go the career route first. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that I got a lot of good years out of it. So if it doesn't work out like that, then that is what it is. But I would definitely like to go pro for soccer. So.
For sure, and we would love to see you. We would love to see every athlete here at PV succeed. And it was great having you on here. I mean, it's inspiring to hear an athlete that plays two sports and has academics and manages, their recovery, their personal life. It's a lot, and that's very commendable. So round of applause
Thank
to
you so much.
So is there any final things you want to leave for the viewers that are watching KPVU's Athletes Corner, excuse me? You want to leave anything for the viewers, any like anecdotals, any quotes?
Yeah, I just would like for everybody to know, like, if you are an athlete, like, there is always someone there for you. I'm a very big advocate for mental health and athletes. So everybody, you have someone on your side. There's always someone there for you. The good days are always better than the bad days, and you just got to keep going. So.
Amen. So this is a wrap for Athletes Corner for this episode. We're glad to have you here. It was great hearing your story.
Thank you so much.
We're congratulating all of you athletes as well as those that are, going off graduating and getting into their ventures. So I have nothing else to ask you. I'm glad that you were here, like I said. We're going to wrap up today's Athletes Corner. My name is Khalid Gray.
Kamara Bradley.
And it was a pleasure having you guys here. We will see you guys in the next episode of Athletes Corner.